national championship swimmer Riley Gaines, also with Outkick, joins us here on The Blaze. It's good to have you, Riley, back on the program. How you been?
Well, I have been great. It is so good to be on with you guys, so thank you for having me.
There's a lot going on in the arena that you are fighting and battling in right now. Let's start where there's some crossover to our show, because you're a part of the same lawsuit that my assistant Todd, his daughter, Ainsley, who is a decorated athlete. Now she's on a double scholarship at the University of Arkansas. A group of female athletes now suing the NCAA, saying, hey, you're violating Title IX by not defending women's sports and allowing biological men to compete in them. Tell us why you decided to help spearhead this effort, and ultimately, what is it you want the NCAA to now do in response?
Well, let me just say, I could not be more proud of the other athletes, of course, myself and 15 other athletes who have signed on to this lawsuit. Todd Erzin's daughter, Ainsley, being included. She's someone who I look up to. She's incredible, a two-sport athlete in college. That's unheard of. So she's just amazing and certainly a role model for me. But look, what we're suing over is the NCAA explicitly and directly violating the federal civil rights law that is Title IX. Of course, Title IX is the law enacted back in 1972, so 52 years since its implementation, that prevents discrimination on the basis of sex. Much broader than just women's sports, but most notably known for giving the opportunities for women to compete at the same level as men, especially at the collegiate level. But what the NCAA has done and continues to do is do just that. I mean, they're discriminating against us on the basis of our sex. They're failing at their most basic duties of ensuring equal opportunity, ensuring safety in our sports, and ensuring privacy in areas of undressing. And so I'll tell you, for so long, I thought to myself, it seemed pretty black and white to me. Someone should sue. It's what the other side does so well. And I just kept thinking, well, who's going to? And finally, it was like God tapping me on my shoulder, and he's like, hey, Riley, it's you. Of course, along with these other athletes. And so ultimately what we're looking for here, to answer your question of what we want the NCAA to do, is one, accountability, two, responsibility, and three, to uphold Title IX's original intent. Very basic. It's not, it seems as if we're really demanding the bare minimum here.
The bare minimum is a tough hill to climb in the current culture on multiple fronts, but you were boosted recently. The NAIA, for people that don't know kind of the nuances and inner workings of collegiate sports, that would be more, your smaller, lower level. And in terms of lower level, we just mean in terms of attendance, and the size of the school and the budget of the athletic department. So lower level of competition, but yet they are a sanctioned collegiate association. They have national championships. They get televised as well. They came out recently and said, hey, we're not going to participate in this insanity. Have you guys as attorneys indicated whether that is a boost to your claims or your case or not, Riley?
It is certainly something that helps the lawsuit. Look, what we've known throughout history is that courage begets courage. And so the NAIA voting overwhelmingly in support in a 25-0 vote to prevent men from competing in women's sports and vice versa. This is huge. It's sad that it takes kind of like the little guy here, the little guy to do the right thing, for the bigger guys to hopefully find the courage and the backbone and the morals that for so long they have lacked, that ultimately put us in the position that we're at. But I believe it sets a precedent. So it's great for the lawsuits, great for the courts to have something to resort to. And I'm hopeful. I've been naive before. I want to say I'm confident that the NCAA will do the right thing, but I don't know if I'm confident yet. But I'm hopeful that they do. I know they want to. That's the bottom line here. I know the NCAA, I think they're excited about our lawsuit, to be totally honest with you. They want to be able to say their hands are tied. There's nothing we can do. That's what they've done thus far. That's what they want to continue doing. I think they're thrilled that states are taking this up. Now 24 states have enacted some sort of fairness in women's sports law. I think the NCAA loves that. It takes the responsibility away from them. So I think the same is true with the NAIA and passing, this new ruling that prevents men from competing in women's sports. I think the NCAA hopefully will follow suit.
Riley, you read my mind. because you literally just said what was going to be the premise of my next question. As a guy that came out of the sports talk world and still follows sports pretty closely for fun in my private life, very well aware of what's going on with the NCAA now on multiple fronts when it comes to NIL and paying players and everything else. And there's now a politician, literal politician in charge of the NCAA, former Massachusetts Republican Governor Charlie Baker. And even though he's a Massachusetts Republican, which frankly, it means he's not very Republican. For what typically is in charge of the NCAA, he's Attila the Hun. Okay, and it does strike me at their silence here did strike me as a huge political. This is a classic rhino Republican play. I don't have the testicular fortitude to do what must be done. So let me just sit back and hopefully there'll be some organic outrage that will correct this situation. So like Pontius Pilate, I can wash my hands of it and say it wasn't me. I didn't render this ruling. It's just what the courts or somebody have spoken. I have watched longer than you've been alive, girl. I have watched Republicans do this, okay? And this seems like a classic Republican Party play where secretly he'll never say this to, the national college writer at ESPN who thinks that, that anything can be a girl and compete. But privately, I do bet you he's ecstatic you all did this, hoping that the system will force his hand so he gets to claim, I'm not the bigot here. I just was doing what the courts demanded after all.
Of course he is. And to your point, and being inundated with requests and emails and different things, understand it is our job as everyday people, as parents of female athletes, as female athletes ourselves, as medical professionals, as fathers. I mean, the list goes on. It's our job to hold our leaders accountable. We would be, if we waited for people to do the right thing, especially our leaders unprovoked, we would be waiting for forever. It's up to us to hold their feet to the fire. And again, like I said previously, it's what the other side does so well. Mm-hmm. They threaten lawsuits. They pursue these lawsuits. So it's time that we do the same thing. Yes, in terms of litigation, certainly that's an area to fight back, but just letting your voice be heard. The NCAA, I will say that I believe in the next few weeks, less than the next 2 weeks, they will be voting on their rules, just like the NAIA just did. Inundate them, the Board of Governors, with emails. There's even templates out there. You can go to iwnnetwork.org, and there's templates. There's a way to send out blast an email to all the Board of Governors. They make it super easy for you. Again, that is necessary that we do that. Charlie Baker, he even said in front of the Senate, Senator Hawley, began asking him questions. The hearing was actually on NIL, but he started pressing him on this issue. He asked him 7 questions in a row that Charlie Baker said, well, I don't have an answer for you. Okay, well, what about the locker room, President Baker? What does that policy look like as it stands today? Well, let me get back to you in writing, Senator Hawley. 7 questions in a row. That to really show you, highlight how our leaders, whether that's in the NCAA, whether that's corporate America, whether that's the media, our government, people, the people in the White House right now, the very tippy top, they are weak-kneed, they are spineless, they are morally bankrupt cowards.
Amen. All right, last thing I want to ask you about, if you don't mind, I want to get kind of personal with you for a second. As someone that I'm guessing 3-4 years ago, this was not your life plan, right? You're successful, you're a champion, you're going to go to dental school, probably become some form of spokeswoman, commentator on a sport that you've been excellent at. Just, you had a completely different life plan. And then this intervenes, and conviction, as you talked about earlier, intervenes as well. And now you're on this path. And on a daily basis, when you see stuff like, one day the Supreme Court says, with the Idaho ruling, yeah, you can enforce that. What's happening here, what they're doing here is immoral. Don't continue to permit it. And then the very next day, another court in the West Virginia district comes out and says, actually, we're going to make sure that's exactly what the Supreme Court means. So your head's on a swivel going back and forth. We're in national championship season right now for spring sports. And we're going to see, and we're already seeing again, another wave of Leah Thomas wannabes and what they're doing to female athletes, and really just femininity as a general principle. This is just the vehicle for it. Just, what keeps you going? What's kind of your plumb line, and how do you avoid getting discouraged?
A couple things. Specifically to answer how I avoid getting discouraged, because look, the battle has already been won. That's the most beautiful piece about not just this issue, but I mean all of the cultural issues that we're seeing, all of this world as we know it. We know what the outcome is because the Bible tells us what the outcome is. So of course, having security in the fact that I'm standing for objective truth, the most basic of objective truths at that, man and woman, that makes it easy, biological reality. But what makes it even easier than that is I'm standing for biblical truth. That is, before anything, I want to live a Christ-like life, and standing for how God created us perfect and intentionally in his image. I'm doing just that. So that is certainly what keeps me from being discouraged is the security there. But not to mention, I have a little sister. She's 15 years old. She's an elite level gymnast. She's incredible. She will go on to do amazing things, compete hopefully at the University of Kentucky, certainly staying in the SEC. You guys up there where you are, you don't know competition till you come down to the SEC. So hopefully my little sister, I'm certain will do that. Being married for nearly 2 years, coming up on my 2-year anniversary, I can only hope to have a daughter of my own one day. And I don't know how I, as a future mother, as a older sister to a younger one, I don't know how I could look myself in the mirror and be proud of myself having experienced what we did, facing what we faced, and not standing up for them. That's what all this is about. It's not about me. I'm not vying to be some sort of politician. Are you crazy? Who in their right minds would do that? I'm certainly not vying to climb the ladder there or to have this gig on Fox News or whatever it is. That's not what I'm fighting for. What I'm fighting for is my younger sister's future. That's what this is about.
That's an awesome answer. All right, I want to make sure we get some action points from you before we let you go. You gave out a website a minute ago where people can go and take part in applying, let's call it encouragement. Aggressive encouragement upon the NCAA Board of Governors. What was that website again? Give that one out if you don't mind.
Yes, you can check it out at IWF.org. That stands for Independent Women's Forum. I believe it's also on IWN Network, which is Independent Women's Network. They've got a very easy way to be able to send out, you can customize it how you wish, personalize it how you wish, but an easy way to send out an email to the NCAA Board of Governors, which is, again, necessary, crucial, and urgent that we do that.
All right, so everybody right now, go to IWF for Independent Women's Forum, F as in Frank, IWF right now. Fill out that form, take 5 minutes out of your day, fill that thing out, and that's one action point item you can do to apply some pressure here. You've got a new book coming out, Swimming Against the Current, Fighting for Common Sense in a World That's Lost Its Mind. People can pre-order the book right now on Amazon, and it's coming out May 21st. Anything else real quick you want to say about that?
You got it. Super fun to be involved in that process. Of course, it's a much deeper dive into what myself and, again, girls around the country, really around the world, continue to face in terms of the unfair competition, being non-consensually exploited in locker rooms, the silencing that we face even. So again, that's called Swimming Against the Current. It's available for pre-order. You can look it up on Amazon, wherever you get your book. Super fun process.
And then last thing, before we let you go, real quick, make sure people know you've got your own show there on Outkick. How can they tune in and find you?
Yes, I've got a podcast with Outkick. It is called Gains for Girls. Also fun to be on the other side of these interviews, talking to policy experts and world-leading scientists and, of course, people who have been adversely impacted at the hands of this movement. So lots of fun things going on over there. That's called Gains for Girls. You can check it out anywhere where you get your podcast. Excellent stuff.
Finish the race, Riley. You are running it. Finish the race. You're setting the example. Thank you so much.
I'm swimming it. Thank you so much.
All right. Yes, you're swimming it. You're right. Thank you. My bad.